Hey guys, what's up? Chris Lee, aka Toonie, singer, songwriter, producer, professional audio engineer, owner of United Destiny Entertainment. Check this out. I'm going to talk to you guys about something very important today. This is a very important video, so stay tuned, continue to watch and listen and learn something. Right off the back, a lot of you guys want to know how to send your track off or what's the requirements to send your track off to be able to have it mastered by a mastering engineer. Okay, well, right off the back, I'm gonna tell you right now that a lot of you guys are getting mixing and mastering screwed up. A lot of you guys don't even know what mastering is. You're mixing this out of your DAW, you're bouncing it down, and you're calling it. You're saying that it's mixed and mastered. That is not mastered. I've had plenty of clients who've had their stuff mixed by another engineer, and the thing about it was they took it to the club or tried to get radio play, and they let them know that the track wasn't mastered or wasn't industry standard. So I'm gonna kind of fill you guys in on what's the difference. The difference in the mixing phase. What happens in the mixing phase is you handle all kind of things such as the balancing, the panning, the EQs, the compressions, the reverbs, the delays, the effects, the desired mix that you want on the overall track, the overall balance of the track. That's everything that happens in the mixing phase. The mastering phase is totally different. The mastering phase, you take a two track like a left and right multi-mono track, and you take it at -6 dB or -3. It's always great to leave good headroom. And what you're trying to do is say the goal in mastering is to be able to get more overall loudness, industry standard. Not only that, you mastering phase, you can handle giving the track more dynamic punch, more dynamic clarity, get a track a little bit more space, give the track just the overall equal balance with like a reverb, just to make the track up to industry standard, industry loudness, um, and make a nice overall balanced, nice, clean, punchy track. There's not much mixing involved in that at all. Some things that you can accomplish in a mastering stage is, say, if you bounce down your track from Pro Tools as a Monty Mono track and you want to get it mastered, the track has an overall good balance, but say the track just lacked, the vocals lacked a little presence in the track, overall track that it should. You can handle that in a mastering stage. The mastering stage, you can go in and EQ a certain part of that certain frequency range and of those vocals or the vocals over the track, as well as compression, and kind of bring those vocals out a little bit more, make them punch out or stand out a little bit more over in the overall track in general. So that's the difference. There's a lot more to it, of course, but that's giving you guys the basic rundown of the mixing and mastering phase. They're two different stages, and I just don't want you guys to get that mixed up. So when you're mixing something down in Pro Tools, if you don't know how to master, you're not a mastering engineer, or you don't know how to do in-the-box mastering, don't tell people that your track is mastered, because anybody who's a mastering engineer or an industry professional would know that your track is not mastered and will tell you that. So with that being said, here I have a track. I threw a bunch of plugins on this track because I didn't want to spend 30 minutes mixing this track and then doing this video. So what I have here is some instruments going. I got some lead vocals, but I muted the ad-libs because they have to be chopped up and stuff like that and cleaned up. Fades added to everything, and that's just going to take entirely too long. So just long story short, this is for all you people recording your own music. This is what you need to do. When you're sending the track off to be mastered by a mastering engineer or anybody engineer who's going to do in the box mastering, the goal is to leave them at least -6, preferably dB headroom, so they're allowed to bring more loudness, clarity, and punch out of the track. If you were sending them tracks with limiters on your bus master, which is the last aux send that all your track signal is being sent through before you print, it to be mastered. If you have it with the limiter on there and you have everything slamming at 0 already, the mastering engineer will not be able to do anything with that track because he has no headroom. So you want to leave the mastering engineer headroom so he's able to bring out the dynamics, the clarity, and the punch out of the track. So what you see here is I have all my instrument tracks. Here I have I have about 5 to 6, and let me go ahead. I'll leave that the same color. I have 6 aux ends. One is my Vox for my vocal effects. I have one that has reverb, one for delay, one as my beat master, and one as my box master, and one as my overall bus master for the entire track. Now, what I did was I sent all the outputs of the beat master track to the input of the beat master auxiliary send, so I can control the level and the overall dynamics, EQs, everything of all these instruments as a whole. I did the same thing with the vocals. I sent all the outputs of the vocals to the input of this Vox auxiliary track to be able to control it with this level, as well as any effects that I put on there as inserts is going to affect all the vocals as a whole together, not just one individually. I did the same thing with the reverb. I set up 2 send tracks for reverb and delay to be able just to send my vocal signals to the actual auxiliary sends of the reverb to be able to feed my vocals or my instruments some reverb and delayed effects, the desired effects that I want in general. The next thing that I did was, since I have my Vox Master controlling all my vocals and I have my Beat Master controlling all my instruments for the beat, I have 2 of those. What I did was I sent all the vocal effects outputs of all my vocals to the input of the Vox Master auxiliary send. So now this auxiliary send is controlling all my vocals plus all its effects, the overall volume or the overall input signal of my vocals in general. Same thing with the beat. Now what I finally did was I sent the output of both of those auxiliary tracks, the Vox Master and the Beat Master, to the input of one beat master that's going to control all my vocals, my instruments, and everything as a whole, the overall balance. Now, like I told you, the goal is to hit around -6. If you hit it around -3, that's fine. It's just not going to give the master and engineer that much room to play with. But let's see how much room I got. Like I said, this track isn't mastered. This track isn't mixed. I just slapped on some plugins so you guys can get the idea. But check it out. Let's see where my levels are hitting.
Restless, can't sleep, tossing and turning, stressing, scratching, skin, anxiety burning. Fuck this, I'm going now. It's 3 a.m. and I'm wanting to see what downtown's about. Put down my note, wash with soap, grab my coat, grab my dope so I can float in the subway boat. Empty car tripping.
So notice that my levels are hitting around -6. This is perfect to go ahead and send off to the mastering engineer. Once it's mixed, once it's properly mixed, everything's balanced, properly balanced. I got the desired sound that I want overall balanced with the track before I'm ready to print it. Notice that on my auxiliary track for my bus master, I just have a stereo imager. Now I can use anything, Ozo plugins, if I wanted to add just a little more dynamics, a little more EQ punch to the overall track, I can do that. But since I want to have this mastered, once it's completed, I don't want to have any kind of limiters on my bus master, and sometimes not even compression, but a little compression is okay as long as it's controlled and not having the track slamming. But as far as the limiter, you don't want to do that because the limiter is going to force everything to hit 0 dB in the first place unless you put the ceiling at -3. But yet and still, you don't want to take away from that. You want to be able to let the track have its nice natural sound of all the instruments and handle all the clarity and the punch of each instrument or the track in general in the mastering phase. So next thing what I did, and this is the most key important part, you guys want to set up a print track. So you want to hit Shift Command N and you want to change it, if you want to change the stereo mono portion, you just hit like command over, command back, command over. Um, and if you want to change it from the inputs, you just hit command up and down. So whatever. That's what I did already. I don't need to do that. So now what I want to do is I want to send the output of my auxiliary bus master to the input of the actual print track. So if you was to set it up as a bus, you would just pick a bus, say for instance bus 15 to 16, and change the name to print. But I already got that. So now you're not going to hear anything. And the reason why you're not going to hear anything is because I sent the output of the bus master to the input of a print track. And the only way to be able to hear that is to engage it. So the first thing you want to do is I engage the track. Now, when I engage the track,
Restless, can't sleep, tossing and turning, stressing, scratching.
You can still hear it. You can still hear the sound now. So I'm not going to bounce down a whole track. I'm just going to bounce down a little small portion of this. This is what you would do. You want to make sure that you can see your transport window and make this a little bit bigger. Now, I already have it on option K, but check this out. Even though it's on the input of option K, even though it's on the input of my actual print track, you can't hear anything because option K, pressing that allows you to hear the signal that you're now recording while reprinting inside of Pro Tools. So this is what you would do. You want to hit option K so you can hear it. You'll see this little green light up. Now what I'm going to do is just print what I recorded inside of Pro Tools. So let's check our levels. We're not hitting 0. We're not peaking. We're about at -6 dB. And I'm going to hit record.
Restless, can't sleep, tossing and turning, stressing, scratching, skin anxiety burning. Fuck this, I'm going now. It's 3 a.m. and I'm wanting to see what downtown's about. Put down my note, wash with soap, grab my coat, grab my dope, so I can float in the subway boat. Empty car tripping, hard door opens, felt a gust of cold air blowing like it had to be an omen. Aw man, and it was bugging out a Doberman, growling and foaming at the mouth. The energy keeps flowing, even if it.
Alright. So you cut off the record ready on that track, and since it's still on option K, you just listen to it.
Restless, can't sleep, tossing and turning, stressing, scratching, skin anxiety burning. Fuck this, I'm going now. It's 3 a.m. and I'm wanting to see what downtown's about. Put down my note, wash with soap.
Notice that my print track is still hitting around -6 dB. That's what you want. So when you make your final print of your track in Pro Tools, Logic, whatever program that may be, you want your final track to be hidden at -6 dB. Now I can get ready to send this off for mastering. So I'm going to bounce it. And when I go to bounce, this is what you want your settings to be. If you're not going to send it off for mastering, you don't have to try to keep it at -6 dB. You can just try to slam the track inside of Pro Tools and get the overall loudness of the track without distorting, and try to keep it at 0. But when you're sending it off for mastering, you want that headroom. So if you're bouncing it down and you don't want it mastered in Pro Tools, you want to leave it at wave, stereo interleave. You want to bounce down. CD mastering quality is 16-bit 441K. Since I'm having this mastered, I want to go ahead and leave it at 24-bit, and I want to change my stereo format. I want to change my format to multi-mono. That's going to give me a left-right channel. And when it gives me a left-right channel, the mastering engineer will be able to take the track, have 2 channels, and do his thing, mixing the mastering. I do in-the-box mastering myself, so I'm just giving you guys tips on how I need the track if you're sending it to me. So I'll have it on wave, multi-mono, gives me 2 channels, left and right. Leave it at 24-bit because I'm going to bounce it down to 16-bit after I'm done mastering it anyways. 44.1 is K. Now, a lot of you people say that you can't get your conversion quality to change from being good. Yes, you can. You just change your sample rate to 48, and it lights the box up. And if yours is starting off on good or better or best, always change it to tweak head slowest. That's the conversion quality that you want it on. It's like anything bouncing down or anything that's right in speed of anything. It doesn't matter. You want it to go slow so it's able to catch all the dynamic range and the information in anything, so it's able to catch it without missing anything by writing too fast. So I got that at 24-bit, 44.1. This track is ready to be mastered. So I'm going to hit bounce. Once I hit bounce, I'm going to hit Command D to go to my desktop. And I'm going to hit master this folder. And it's going to say, I'm going to just put crazy song at 24-bit, 44.1K, -6 dB. That lets me know how much headroom I got. And hit save.
Restless, can't sleep, tossing and turning, stressing, scratching, skin, anxiety burning. Fuck this, I'm going now. It's 3 a.m. and I'm wanting to see what downtown's about. Put down my note, wash with soap, grab my coat, grab my dope, so I can float in the subway boat. Empty car tripping, hard door opens. Felt a gust of cold air blowing like it had to be an omen. Aw man, and it was bugging out a Doberman, growling and foaming at the mouth. The energy keeps flowing.
So there you have it. That's how you would send a track off, getting a track ready for mastering. So all you people sending me tracks, make sure that the overall output. Oh, another thing that I just wanted to mention really fast. All you producers out there who are producing beats, stop mastering your beats before you send it off to these artists to rap over. When you send these beats or sell these beats to these artists and the beat is already mastered and I imported it into the track and it's already slamming. I got the track on like -18 dB and it's still slamming at 0. That means that you mastered it or had some kind of limiter on there, and that's not what you want to do. If you do that, when you send it off to a mastering engineer, any mastering that he tries to do on top of that track, it's just going to destroy the overall sound of the beat and the track in general and make it sound distorted. That's not what you want. So take my advice, take heed to my warnings. Don't put limiters or masters on your beats before you sell them to these clients. Now, just to do something really quick, now you know I made a print track, so I'm just going to go to the print track. I wouldn't normally do this in the program, but I just want to prove to you guys what kind of headroom you can get when you have -6 dB. So listen to how loud it is already.
Restless, can't sleep, tossing and turning, stressing.
Now I'm going to set my ceiling. I'm going to leave my ceiling at 0, out ceiling. We're basically setting like a point to where we don't want the threshold, and we're adjusting the threshold, but we're setting our ceiling to the point where we don't want the track to go over, so where it's not distorted. So check this out. Look how much headroom I got now.
Restless, can't sleep, tossing and turning, stressing, scratching, skin, anxiety burning. Fuck this, I'm going now. It's 3 a.m. and I'm wanting to see what downtown's about. Put down my note, wash with soap, grab my coat, grab my dope, so I can float in the subway boat. Empty car tripping, hard door opens. Felt a gust of cold air blowing like it had to be an omen. Aw man, and it was bugging out a Doberman, growling and foaming at the mouth. The energy keeps flowing. Restless, can't sleep, tossing and turning, stressing, scratching, skin, anxiety burning. Fuck this, I'm going now. It's 3 a.m. and I'm wanting to see what downtown's about.
So if I was in a mastering stage already, obviously it wouldn't be internally in this particular session. Once I add all my multi-band compressors and EQs and reverbs to add some stereo widening, some space and everything, the limiter is the last plug-in in the actual mastering phase in general that you want in your signal chain. But you were able to see how leaving yourself -6 dB, I was able to give myself an extra 5-6 dBs of track loudness without the track being distorted or clipping, and that's what you want.
Restless, can't sleep, tossing and turning, stressing, scratching, skin, anxiety burning. Fuck this, I'm going now. It's 3 a.m. and I'm wanting to see what downtown's about.
So that's how the mixing and mastering phase works when you're actually taking your time with your tracks and doing what you need to do. But for all my clients out there, that's how I want you to bounce your tracks down. Bounce them down at 24-bit, 44 1K is fine. Multi-mono when you bounce down from Pro Tools. Then send that to me at -6 dB. That way I have some headroom. Try to achieve the best mixing uh, possible in the mixing stage to gain, the clarity and the nice balance throughout the track. The better it sounds coming to me before I master it, the better it's gonna sound coming out mastered. But if it sounds like shit before I even master it, guess what? It cannot be fixed in the mastering stage, because the mastering stage is not a mixing stage. So I can't polish a turd. If it sounds like shit, all I'm basically gonna do is make the shit sounding track sound even louder in a mastering phase, and that's not what you want. But I hope this video helped. Please subscribe, stay tuned for more. Really take your time and watch this video and share this video so all your friends and other artists and clients and producers know the proper way that this works. Thanks for watching. Chris Lee, aka Toonie.